Welcome back, everybody, to another exciting DuckmanCycles VW Garage. I'm your host, the Duckman. We're back today with the Rare Air Volkswagen Club Volkswagen Bus Giveaway Go-Kart that I've been working on for probably about the last year. There's been nothing but interruptions. It's been a tough year, guys. A lot of things has happened to me, but we're going to put that beside us. We're going to try to get this thing running today with the help of the HIPA Store. So make sure that you guys likey, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to plug that dingle bell so you get updates every time I upload a video. Check out duckshit.net for all of my different social media links. Check out rareairvw.com for information about the go-kart, or if you'd like to buy a raffle ticket. The raffle will be in October. You don't even have to be present to win. That's right, you can buy a ticket online. So let us know what you'd like to do. Hit up the websites, check us out. But before we get into any of that, let's take a moment to talk about the HIPA Store.
The HIPA Store has been good to us here at DuckmanCycles. They provided all kinds of parts for my outdoor power equipment and even had some stuff for my go-kart engine needs. And I never expected it, but it's amazing how many of my fans have written to thank me for referring them to the quality and inexpensive parts that the HIPA Store provides. You too can support me by supporting the HIPA Store through the links down below in the video description. Special thanks again to the HIPA Store for sponsoring this video.
Alright, here's the chassis that we've been building. I don't remember what this is called. It's a Mandingo or something like that. But anyway, this is been shortened about 10 inches or so to make this body fit onto it. This body's a big fiberglass body. I don't know its origin or where it came from. It was hard to find one for a decent price, let me tell you what, because we're trying to build this thing for a big charity raffle giveaway, which again is up on rareairvw.com, so if you'd like to buy a ticket. But I had to make this chassis fit under there because there was nothing else that did. I looked at all of the wheelbases on all the go-karts existing in the market and other ones that are in the area for sale on Marketplace. No dice. And then, of course, we wanted to upgrade the engine. Originally, it had a 212 on the back of it, which just isn't enough power to move an adult my size with a heavy body on it. So we decided to upgrade to a Predator 301, which you can see has been sitting for a little while because it collected some dust. But I've upgraded the chassis, I've made everything fit, and I still need to do a little bit of welding here on the back, but this is where our body hinge is going to be because this is going to open up like a funny car. So that's the plan. So what we need to do is get our engine plate back up on top of here. You may remember in one of the last videos I cut some new adjustment slots because this 301 engine actually has a slightly different alignment. I had to push it a little further to the right to make sure that it lined up with the drive pulley. And then this axle that goes through here, or shaft I should say, for the drive pulley was exactly the right length to make the sprocket work on this side and the pulley fit on this side and still get the nuts on it. If it was a quarter inch shorter, it'd be too short. Worked out just right. Alright, we're going to drop the engine up on top there. I got some new mounting bolts and hardware. And why did I get new bolts? Well, some of them stripped out, a couple of them broke, and I lost some of them. And maybe it's on account of the fact that I used an impact driver because, Duckman, did you know?
Hey, look at me. I'm the Duckman. I'm going to use an impact driver and I'm going to break everything.
Well, thanks to a message there from one of our creative friends. If you'd like to be featured in one of my videos, let me know. Hit me up at DuckmanCycles at duckshit.net, and I'll see if I can integrate a little clip from you and promote your YouTube channel. I figure I'm rolling around to 100,000 subscribers. I might as well get some of the smaller channels up here with me, right, guys? Alright, a lot of things in this yard I want to move around and clean up too, but we'll talk about that at another date. I just got a little too much back here. I need to cut down some of those trees, and I don't know, that's end of video stuff. Alright, well, we're going to take the engine, we're going to stick it down on this platform. I got to figure out which mounting bolts were the ones that I had it set up for. Oh, you know what? I see. It's this one, because these two are further forward. These are the ones I had to make, so I'll be in line with that. So that's where they need to go. Alright, let's put that in. Alright, part of the little problem I have with my allergies is that I'm still coughing up stuff, and despite feeling well, I get winded quite easily when I start picking stuff up like that. There it is, it's starting to set in now. So I'm like a fat man running a marathon because I still can't catch my breath I am a lot better than I was 2 weeks ago, though, so it's a slow process once I get past this, but I've eliminated a lot of problems around the house with things and allergens that have been setting me off. But otherwise, I gotta say, I'm feeling a lot better that I was actually able to do that. 2 weeks ago, I couldn't have done that. As soon as I would have started to lift it, I would have lost my breath right away. But there we are. Okay, good. Yes! Oh, look at that. There's one of my missing bolts. We got all new replacements, so no worries. Alright, there's the engine in place. I slipped the bolts in there while I was taking a minute to catch my breath. The bolts stick through on the bottom here, which are really easy to reach with an impact driver. So I just need a 13mm wrench up on the top, and we'll get them cranked right in. So it'll take a minute. Alright, we've got the bolts dropped in. You probably see all 4 of them from up underneath here. See them sticking out, I put the nuts on them. I didn't bother to show that. Every once in a while I get somebody complains, well, you didn't show the bolts and how you dropped them in the holes. Then you get some other people that say, well, I really didn't need to show you putting the bolts in the holes. It's boring. So anyway, I'm satisfying the people that didn't want to see it this time. Anyway, this whole plate pulls back. That's why the holes were slotted, which gives a chain some tension. So we should be able to bolt that down tight. This belt, however, this is a fixed distance. So from here to here, whatever that distance is, I've picked out a belt for that, and I hope I picked out the right one. I was doing some math, and I don't know if it turned out right. Rather than actual measuring it, I did some math on it. But that's how the belt's going to go on there. I'm not putting that on until the bolts are tight, because it might cause something to pivot. So we're not going to do that just yet. But let's get under there, we'll tighten up the bolts, see if this engine sits on there static, nice and solid the way it's supposed to be. Boy, looks like the cobwebs are on here. The cobs are making some really nice nests for themselves. A bunch of pet cobs. Amazing what happens to this thing when it sits just for a few weeks. Alright, well, there it is.
I'm gonna strip out my bolts!
Alright. That chain could serve to be just a little bit tighter. We're actually probably going to replace this anyway. It's a good chain, it's just it's ugly. And since the club's paying for it, we got our own budget. It's not my budget, so we're going to replace that. But there it is. Engine is mounted. It's effectively solid once again. We got our belt, which goes on here, which sometimes I can put these on with one hand, which really impresses people. Get to the chopper. Get on there. There it goes. Alright. Well, that belt might be a little looser than what it's supposed to be. I think that will probably get it, though. Okay. That should just about get it. Alright, let me hook us up a throttle cable. Brakes are already hooked up. Run switch is just a flippy on the offie. I gotta wire that up to the switch that's way up here. We'll get to that later. We're not gonna do that just yet in this video. Okay. I do have the pull start aiming forwards on purpose because the body is going to be back here with it hinging open. So you won't be able to pull it back this way. It's gotta go that way. Alright. Out of breath again. Oh. Even just a lot of talking will take the wind right out of me. It's all due to this allergies. When I finally get the rest of the crap coughed up out of me, it's been dust, by the way, guys. It certainly has been dust. Maybe perhaps a mold, maybe a yeast. It's not been viral or bacterial. It's something in the air. And it's probably related to these guys, as much as I love them. Okay. Whew. The other thing that happens when I start breathing heavy and I stand out in the sun, I start sneezing, and I'm about to feel that kick in, so before that happens, let me just go ahead and sign off. I'll be right back. Alright, I was trying to figure out what I was going to do for throttle cable, and then it occurred to me, hey, take the throttle cable off the old engine. The throttle cables are virtually the same length, the 301 to the 212, so the only difference is I routed in through the side. I think formerly it came in through around the backside here, and there's two different ways you hook it up to this throttle lever that's on here. But this way, I figure, keeps it away from that chain. So I'll make sure that it's tied and out of the way. But if we run it the other direction, then it stays really close to that chain. So there's too many chances of failure, in my opinion. So I like just being out and about like that. It's also easier to get to in the event you do have to replace it. But we are functional, although it is a little sticky. I think I need to put a little lube on that junction point down there. Step on that throttle. It is working. You know, it just doesn't snap back all the way either, so I may need another spring. Something else for me to get on. But anyway, it does work. That's not a big deal. A spring, I go look at my junk box. I'm sure I got something for that. In fact, you know what? This factory spring on here isn't very taut anyway. Yeah, maybe I could just bend the tab a little bit too. Yeah, that actually might even get it. Alright, well, I'll look at that. But we're in a spot right now where we need to add some oil and some gas, and we should be able to start it up. And once we got it started, if I'm right, I think I can step on that gas pedal with a spring on it to make sure it doesn't leave it wide open. And it should roll. And all these tires are currently holding air. Remember, I put new tubes in the back, and I completely replaced the wheels up front. Well, I have a replacement wheel for this side. This one's actually still good. The only reason why I bought two is so they matched. But this one is still okay, so I'm going to leave that one on there just for the moment. There's no reason to change it out. Otherwise, everything still has air. Like I said, it's holding it, so we're good to go in that department. And we'll get this fixed up and start it up in just a second. Alright, this engine takes about a quart. A little more than a quart, actually. So I'm going to throw one in there, and then we'll figure out, once we get it level, how much more we need to add. I don't know what the actual capacity is, and I'm not even going to bother trying to measure it. We'll just use the dipstick. Otherwise, I think I'm putting too much time into it. I had somebody that was trying to do math one day, setting the end play on a Volkswagen engine. Instead of just putting things in, seeing how they fit, and making an adjustment based on, you know, what you actually measure, he was trying to do the math to figure out how many spacers he needs to put behind his flywheel. And he couldn't figure out doing the math, so he went to the AI ChatGPT, which has never, ever set the end play on a Volkswagen engine. I don't care what kind of experience you think it's had, ChatGPT has never set the end play on a Volkswagen engine. Whereas me, I've done it, you know, dozens, maybe even 100 times or more at this point. And all I gotta say with that is the measurements ChatGPT gave him locked the flywheel up, and you couldn't turn the engine over. It was frozen solid. So when I got to his house, I said, take one of the spacers out, put in one of the skinny ones instead, torque it back down, and then we'll measure it. It was exactly like it was supposed to be. And he was like, how the hell did you do that? I'm like, why didn't you even try that? Well, ChatGPT said, never mind what ChatGPT said. Absolute bullshit. Stop doing the math. Just put the things in, then take your measurement, and then make an adjustment. Anyway, ding dong. That's the new generation for you, right? Put that dipstick back in here. We're going to get this cart off the jack stands, and hopefully I don't crush a toe. I'm wearing my nice shoes and nice pants today, so I'm probably going to fuck them up because that's life. Alright, got another quart of oil here in case we need it. Put it out of the way. Let's put this cart back down, right, guys? Yeah. You know what? Let's throw some gas in it while it's still up. Alright. Fuel level. You see how dirty this gas can of mine is here, guys? This was clean just a week ago. It sits in the shed where the chickens throw around all the dirt, and they've got the entire thing caked on the outside. Thankfully it's not going in the engine that way. .301 tank's much bigger than 212, and as I learned running the 301 on my own go-kart, the 301 drinks twice as much gas as the 212 does. It's also a lot faster, so it's a lot more fun to stay on, you know, wide open throttle. I think that's plenty of gas in there to get it started. Alright, let's get her back on the ground. Oh wow, got a lot heavier with that engine on. careful here, I'm going to lose my breath again. Ooh. Oh, there it goes. Yeah. Can't wait till I shake the rest of this allergies crap. This is what happens to me every year, but this year was the worst. At least this end of it's light. Still trying to catch my breath, but with how light this front end is with that engine on the back, of course you're going to have an adult sitting in the driver's seat. But if it were a kid in here and we put like a 420 on it, this would be a wheelie machine. Alright. Gonna give myself another minute to catch my breath, and then we're gonna try to pull start it. This is gonna be fun. Here we go. Alright, we got a brand new engine, so it should start up pretty easily. Let's put the fuel's already in the on position. Run switch in the on position. I'm gonna put the choke on. I wonder if I should put it on all the way. In my experience, probably not. Maybe about halfway. It is kind of warm out today. We got us one nice day after a couple of really cold nights where it was down in the 30s again. And then tonight it's supposed to be down into the 20s and it's supposed to rain. But when it's in the 20s and it's raining, as I know from my experience up north, it's not usually rain. So we'll see what happens with that. Anyway, here we go. It's got good compression, that's for damn sure. Oh, no way! That actually started much easier than I thought it would. They're going to have to lower the idle a little bit or change the stall in the clutch. But hey, that's great. Started on the first pull. Well, first real pull. I did cheat. Took a couple of small primer pulls. Alright. Again, like a first date. You have a couple of primer pulls before you go out that evening. Okay, here we go. Let me find something to sit on. And I'm going to dial back the idle just a hair. And I think we're going to take it for a ride. I hope those brakes work. They're a little iffy. Even though everything's been adjusted to what I think should be spec on that, because we shortened the chassis, the rod, the pull rod, is now shorter than it used to be. And the adjustment seems to be maxed out on it, so I don't know. Anybody's guess. We're going to see what's about to happen. Well, that was amusing. I was trying to cut a little video so while Bill could see the thing together and running, I went to hit the throttle, and it broke. Well, I'll show the video here. Uh-oh. Brokey. Trying to get away. It stopped power, that's for sure. Oh, okay. Oh no, it's running away. Oh. Well, that's a good update. So yeah, it got away from me, so I gotta flip the thing back over, fix the throttle, which isn't too big of a deal. It's just this rod that goes through here, and there's a little hole in the middle of it where the throttle cable loops into it, and I think that's where it broke. This is not the first time it's done it. I welded it back together the last time, but it's in a really precarious place where it could flex a bit. So I think what I need to do is weld a washer on either side of it, and I think that'll probably get it, so it should be good to go after that. So that's something I got to fight with. If I have a little time today, I may finish it up. It's definitely going to be in this video one way or the other, but I don't know that I'll get to it today. We'll just see how the recording goes on this thing. I've got to, actually, move this Type 3 engine out of the way. I got somebody coming to pick this up after we did the carburetor upgrade on it. And look what just showed up here. Yep, a 1969 Volkswagen Fastback. Not unlike Ruby, although Ruby's a 68, but there was only some very minor differences between the two. One of which, a 68 had a finger hole here to open the gas door. We do have different taillight lenses. And underneath this car, it has an IRS rear suspension as opposed to the swing axle. Now, my swing axle, I actually upgraded it to an IRS some years ago, and it came out good. But this car was in Hurricane Michael about, I guess it was about 6-7 years ago over there in Panama City. And he said it had a real mess made out of it. He's since restored it, put it back together since. But it's got fuel injection on it. And nobody wants to work on the fuel injection. I told him I'd give it a shot. What the heck. But he says he'd really like somebody local that could work on it. And I'm 2.5 hours from him because he's in Panama City. But nobody else wanted to touch it. Nonetheless, after a little bit of kicking things around, he decided, after knowing what I have done with carburetors and dual carburetors, just like the Type 3 engine that's on the back, he'd like me to upgrade this one. So, or downgrade or retrofit or whatever you want to call it, because we're going from fuel injection back to carburation. And we're going to put on those dual 34 ICTs. I referred to him all the parts. He collected everything, and now it's here. So anyway, we'll see that one coming up in this video. You know what? I think I'm going to wrap this video up today, actually. I was going to get out there and do a little more welding on the go-kart, but I have other things I want to get to today. It's supposed to start getting really nasty and cold again, and it's supposed to start raining, so let me see how much more crap I can get done today for myself. And if I do have more time, well, I'll come back to the project and get some other things finished today. But for the time being, I guess that's going to be it. So likey, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to plug that dingle belly so you get updates every time I upload a video. Check out Duck Shit down there for all my different social media links. Special thanks again to the HIPA Store. Check out rareairvw.com for more information about the go-kart if you'd like to buy a ticket. And I guess that's going to be it for today. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you on the next go-around.
I got some stuck bolts I gotta get out.